residents already this evening. I have many concerns about this particular resolution to remove artifacts from 319 Lorraine, the church. And in particular, the council has really been kept largely in the dark on this. There has been just a spurt of activity over the past couple of weeks that, none of us saw this coming. But just for the record, I need to make sure that it's captured in our minutes, and for those here tonight or listening via Zoom, you can hear a little bit of what the council has gone through. Number one, there's been no collaboration with the council on this. As we were entering the Thanksgiving weekend, actually Wednesday evening, November 27th, 3:39 p.m., the mayor notified the council that and this is a quote, "We've had success in getting all artifacts salvaged, and the actual removal will occur over the coming weeks. If you get questions on activity at the site, removal will be going on intermittently between now and year end, and I'll advise when we are complete with that activity." So he let us know, the mayor let us know as we were leaving for Thanksgiving weekend activities that the site was going to have artifacts removed.
What? And I also summarized in that note that
Well, I'll continue, Mr. Mayor.
Fine, I'll catch you at the end then.
Thank you. On Monday, December 2nd, which was the Monday immediately following the Thanksgiving weekend, our municipal attorney notified Mayor Fox of a state statute governing the sale or disposition of borough assets, which typically requires open bidding and a resolution by the governing body. Also, that same day, on Monday, immediately following Thanksgiving weekend, I sent an email to Mayor Fox attempting to make him aware that the removal of borough property without council approval could result in the mayor himself being held personally liable for the value of the assets removed. The Historic Society then reached out to me and other council members to state their objections to their disposal of artifacts that they believe should be preserved for the Bradley Beach Historical Museum. They believe commitments made to them by the mayor are now being ignored. The nature of the inventory value and pricing list does not appear to reflect competitive bidding required by statute, and therefore may not reflect the most beneficial pricing of the value of the assets for the borough's taxpayers. Finally, on December 4th, 1 week ago, I asked the mayor, number one, to describe the disposition destination of artifacts already removed, and to explain how the removal of artifacts already begun is legal, by what standard. And three, to reference any prior resolutions approved by the council in this regard. As we are asked to vote on this resolution tonight, my questions have still not been answered. The taxpayers of Bradley Beach deserve much greater transparency regarding the disposition of borough assets, and this council deserves to play a more active role in determining what the best process is for selling these assets as required by our resolution. For these reasons, I believe we should table this resolution until the entire council is given a chance to assure that the disposition of these assets is in the best interest of Bradley Beach and our taxpayers. I'm not making that motion yet. I'm offering that as a comment, but that's what I believe we should be doing tonight.
Yeah, and I would say, I guess my comments relative to this are that we had last September an expert come in, spent a good amount of time inventorying the items, gave us a value, an approximate value. She updated that over a period of weeks. She then painstakingly went to a number of auction houses. She talked to people in the county and came up with this determination. I met with her, I want to say it was 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, when she had a final agreement with the Church of the Presidents to say that they would actually like to acquire the assets. So this isn't something that we've been holding back for months and months and months. This has been a process for months and months and months that Ms. O'Connor has gone through. She priced the items pretty reasonably. She has said to us, and I will talk to Mr. Nathan after this, I don't think the Church of the Presidents will use all the pews, because there are a number of pews in that church. I think it's about a third of the size of our church. The other item, the bookcase in the basement, that's right now sitting there. It's not going anywhere, because nobody's expressed an interest in it. So those are two of the three items that Mr. Nishampkin mentioned. The other was, stained glass behind the altar. That'd be a conversation I have to have with, Rose to see if that's, doable, which I think it is, because she said there would be flexibility. I think, we have come across a really great opportunity to think about the organ, the pews, and the stained glass of this church being put into a museum in Long Branch for the Church of the Presidents, I think is just a great opportunity. I don't know, going through step by step with Rose O'Connor, I didn't do that. I didn't think it was necessary because she's the expert. She was out there going after these people. I can tell you, I spent a tremendous amount of time in early 2023 trying to find somebody to take this on. And I really believe when you talk about, I understand residents have an emotional tie to this, and I empathize with that. But at the same time, if you think about an auction process in that church, it would be quite onerous, and who would be responsible for that? I think we can identify items if the Historical Society wants, but then the other question for the Historical Society is where are we putting that stuff?
Yeah, that's okay.
No,
No, I'm sorry.
I'm not finished.
I thought you were.
So I think I understand the emotion of the moment, but the other thing that we should be cognizant of is I would hate to miss this opportunity. If the Church's Presidents is expecting, and my instruction to them is, look, we have demolition bids out. They're gonna come in at the end of the year. The new council and mayor may decide to demo in January, so you need to work to get this done. So they have worked on the stained glass. They've taken stained glass down and it's in the building, ready to be transported. The man doing it, that's an art, and it's not something that he specialized and knows how to do. It's not an easy task. So he's been working on that probably for the last 2 weeks since we met, or whatever it was, 3 weeks ago. So I think the right steps are being taken. The update I gave you all before Thanksgiving was around the artifacts, around the land use results, and around the bid specification to try to make sure everybody was on track with, here's the 3 big things going on relative to 319 Lorraine. That was the purpose of that. And to say it was a surprise, wasn't something I was springing on anybody. It was when I got to be able to update and say, here's where we are. I just want to make everybody aware. So that was my intent. If it was taken another way, that's unfortunate.
Well, there's been as you just described, Mr. Mayor, a fairly lengthy process that's been undertaken by, folks who you've directed. Council was not aware. There is a statute that says for disposing of any assets. I mean, if you were talking about selling a police car, you need to get council's approval. Usually when people know they need council's approval, they inform the council, they say, hey, we're at this stage, we're at that stage. This sound good, we're on track, Okay, we're complete, council, I'm ready for your approval. None of that happened. So I'm not saying the disposition that you are now presenting to us isn't in fact the best disposition. I'm simply saying none of us know enough about it to sit, at least I'll say for myself, to sit here tonight and vote in favor of this without having any understanding of what's transpired, other than an email or 2 from you.
If we dispose of a police car, a truck, we bring it up, we bring a resolution forward, we approve the resolution. We have a resolution on the table today to transact this. The details of the transaction are in the resolution. Again, I don't know what your expectation is. I mean, if it's sitting down with Rose O'Connor, I mean, this is somebody who I think has worked very diligently to get a result. I don't know what we're going to gain from that. I'm concerned with the result in the context of if the Church of the Presidents felt like this was on hold or there was a problem with it, I'd hate like heck if they said, you know what, we don't need to, we'll just look elsewhere. And I'm not saying they would do that, but, this is an opportunity that I would really hate to miss, because when I think about the beauty of those artifacts and getting placed into a museum of that stature in Monmouth County, that they are paying us for, I would hate to miss that opportunity. And around the context of quotes and dollars, I can only say she's the expert. Anytime I talk to her, she knows what she's talking about. And her point about 1,000 churches closing and a lot of surplus out there, that's a reality. So I think she's worked diligently to get a great result for us. So that's my comments.
I have a question. What was actually, the contract of sale, what was actually promised to the Camp Meeting Association? Was it one stained glass or was it more?
It was anything they wanted.
Okay, and do we have anything in writing saying that they're getting what they wanted?
We have a contract with the Camp Meeting Association when they transferred the ownership of the building to us. In that contract, it says we reserve the right, if the building is disposed of or demolition, to retain any artifacts that we choose.
And what have they chosen?
They chose a pane of glass about the size of that board up there, and it has the name of Elrod Stokes, who is the founder of the Camp Meeting Association. What they plan to do with that frame or that piece of stained glass is put it in their internal site with a light behind it. So my expectation of them was they were gonna come in and ask for 15 items. They asked for one.
Do we have that in writing and is this a
There's a
final?
contract, yeah.
Is there a contract saying that this is all we want, we took what we want and we don't want
No,
anything
they
else?
just communicated to us.
Okay, I would suggest we get that in writing.
Well,
So
we can retroactively write it up, but they're basically done. They're done with us.
Okay, and you have to have something in writing to say that they're done with us. In addition, you say the building might be torn down in January. And it went in front of the land use board on December 19th. Takes 30 days to read the resolution, and then 45 days after that, you have the official perfection of the subdivision. So you really can't do anything until the building until February 15th. Or after that.
Well, you first have to have the building, I'm sorry, no, you can demo the building.
I don't believe you can do that until you officially perfect the subdivision that went in front of the land use board.
Well, I don't think the subdivision has anything to do with the demo. The subdivision has to do with the purchase of the property by developers or whoever purchased the property.
Or end users, but you have to perfect it. You have to, first of all, have it read as a resolution, then you have 45 days of an
Right.
appeal period.
Right.
So I would say, I would think you wouldn't tear down the building during that time until you have it perfected and that no one has appealed it.
That's a decision you all can make in February.
Right, but I'm saying, I don't believe the building would be torn down in January as you had suggested.
Well, I said, well, what I inferred, I don't know if I said it's gonna come down, I doubt it will come down in January. I think the bids are due on December 20th, which that'll be open next Friday. And from that point, there has to be with the successful bidder, a discussion with the successful bidder. And the right date chosen, so that has to occur.
And that would also have to go in front of the council, which we don't have a meeting until sometime in January,
The bid,
the bid.
well, I'm gonna suggest we have a meeting on December 30th to approve that, because that'll be 10 days after the bids come in next Friday, which I've already suggested to you.
I understand that, but I don't feel that it's a time essence, because like I said, the building's not gonna get torn down until after it's perfected. So why rush it?
Because we have once the bids are open, the clock starts ticking on a 60-day the validity of the bid.
And so we have 60 days. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve 2024-216. Do I have a second?
Second,
Mr. Noble,
no,
Mr. Gubatose,
Nope.
Ms. Mahoney,
I just wanna say, we don't want credit for giving the art, selling the artifacts to the Church of the Seven Presidents. We want the opportunity to give the artifacts to the people to whom they belong currently, which is the residents of Bradley Beach. I say no.
Mr. Weber?
He can't vote.
I'm sure he can say that.
Occurred to me that I couldn't vote.
Yes. I'm just taking a page
I'll
from.
abstain, Erica, and I like answering for myself.
Thank you. Mayor Fox?
Just trying to give you some help there, Councilman. I vote yes, and I view this as extremely unfortunate. I don't think, that anything's been done incorrectly here. The idea of, this not moving forward to me is extremely egregious in that, we have a unique opportunity to sequence this correctly, get it done, and now we're gonna be into a whole other conversation, and it's certainly gonna put a question mark with the Church of the Presidents. Well, is this going, why should we do anything right now? I think it's extremely sad. Okay,
I think for the record, someone should reach out to the Church of the Presidents and say, the council felt blindsided, the council was not kept informed. They're still very interested in getting whatever artifacts they can to the church to preserve these historic artifacts. But the council needs to understand what it is we're giving away, what is it we'd like to keep, and what price we're selling the artifacts for that we want to sell.
that's in the resolution.
And we don't understand it because it was just given to us a set of numbers, a set of values, and a set of prices. And oh, what a surprise. Every price paid is slightly above the value set. Any public auction, which is required by statute, would have all kinds of results. They would have an assessed value and a bid well below, other bids twice as much. This document, Mayor, that you provided to us is very too consistent, honestly, for anyone to believe this was a competitive bid process. So I would like to see a competitive bid process. I would like to have opportunities to salvage all of these artifacts for posterity, working very closely with the Church of the Presidents. This is not a vote against the presidents. This is a vote against the council having to accept something that's been constructed without having any knowledge of how it was done. So let that be part of the record. Church of the Presidents, we'd still love to work with them.
I will contact them tomorrow and have a discussion with them. Hopefully they'll be amenable, but
And we can all, you say people can't go in the building, you understand that you can do an online auction as well. So like Sotheby's has it all the time. We can have other opinions as
Yeah.
to.
Ms. O'Connor stated that. She's very familiar with that. And again, the nature of these particular items, she went the path that she thought was the best path of acquiring a good buyer and a good home for these things, which again, I think was achieved. Okay, 2024-217 bid award for the improvements to Fifth Avenue 2023 municipal aid project. Make a motion to approve 2024-217.